Good evening. You are watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The decisions of the COVID-19 Supreme Committee comes into effect all over the Sultanate. A number of wilayas of the Sultanate witness rainfall due to the effect of Al-Ataya trough of low pressure. The Sultanate condemns the Israeli forces' raid on Al-Aqsa Mosque and rejects the eviction policy and process of the Palestine people from their homes in Jerusalem city. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. In a statement released by the Foreign Ministry, the Sultanate of Oman condemns the Israeli forces' raid on Al-Aqsa Mosque, rejects the eviction policy and process of the Palestine people from their homes in Jerusalem city, and reaffirms its solid position in supporting the legitimate rights to establish an independent state of Palestine with the borders of 1967 and East Jerusalem as its capital. The decisions of the Supreme Committee tasked with tackling the developments resulting from coronavirus COVID-19 come into effect today, the 8th of May 2021, and last until Saturday, the 15th of May. The decisions include banning the movement of individuals and vehicles in all governorates of the Sultanate from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. The banning of all commercial activities throughout the day already started. The activities excluded from the ban include grocery stores, central markets for fruits, vegetables and fish, as well as slaughterhouses which will operate at 50% of capacity, fuel stations, health establishments and pharmacies. Home delivery services are also allowed during the banning period. The new decisions from the COVID-19 Supreme Committee have come into effect today. Citizens, residents and shop owners have shown a high level of commitment to the decisions, which include a ban on attending or holding traditional markets and limiting physical interaction with customers. The new set of rules emphasize the importance of maintaining physical distance and finding an alternative route to conduct business and engage with customers. As Omanis have grown accustomed to buying from traditional markets, also known as habtas, in preparation for Eid al-Fitr, the epidemiological situation in the country has urged them to opt for safer options by ordering online or relying on delivery agents. His Excellency Dr. Saud bin Hamud Al-Habsi, Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources, made an inspection visit to the farms and properties in the Governorate of North Batina to assess the damages occurred during the latest adverse weather condition. During the visit, His Excellency the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources listened to farm owners and citizens in the affected areas. He also stated that the damages will be identified in coordination with the Ministry's engineering services within the available capacity of the ministry and through local community teams. After the assessment, plants seedling will be distributed to the affected farms and individuals. The Civil Aviation Authority issued a warning over heavy thunder showers, which is expected to fall between 25 millimeters to 50 millimeters, associated with fresh to heavy winds ranging from 30 to 45 knots, accompanied by hail and overflowing of wadis over parts of the governorates of Muscat, Dakhiliya, South and North Batina, South and North Sharqiya, Buraimi and Dahira during the coming hours. The Civil Aviation advises all to be cautious during rain and not to cross overflowing wadis, check visibility and sea state before sailing, as well as avoiding low-lying areas. A number of wilayas of the Sultanate witnessed moderate to heavy rains, which caused wadis and tributaries to overflow due to the effect of Al-Ataya trough of low pressure. Here are scenes from the wilaya of Izki, Samail and Al-Qabil and also Rastaq. Engineering services at the Ministry of Defense continue to exert efforts to deal with the effects resulting from current weather situation in the governorate of North Batna, especially the wilayas of Saham, Al-Khabura and Suwaiq. The specialists in engineering services continue to evaluate the situation to deal with these effects and provide technical support to citizens and residents. The engineering services supplied electricity company with the fuel required to support electricity sector, in addition to reconnecting electricity supply. They also sent a set of generators to support the electricity sector there. Heavy equipment affiliated to the Ministry of Defense work on reinstalling poles, reopening roads and clearing of debris. Midwives in the Sultanate and members of Oman Nursing Association joined midwives across the world countries to celebrate International Midwives Day, which is held every 5th of May yearly. More details in the following report from Ibri Hospital by Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i.
Under the theme, Follow the Data, Invest in Midwives. Midwives in the Sultanate and members of Oman Nursing Association joined midwives across the world countries to celebrate International Midwives Day. 5th of May, every year, countries of the world celebrate the work of the world's midwives. On this important day, midwives tend to reflect, celebrate and acknowledge the incredible work they do for mothers and babies.
Thank you to all our incredible midwives for the care, compassion, and support they give to mothers, babies, and their family. I am proud to be midwife. Happy Midwifery Days for all midwives in Sultanate of Oman and around all the world.
Midwives take the lead in providing care through pregnancy, childbirth, and afterwards. The continuity of care of which is preferred by women and has been proved to reduce preterm births by 24%, a key factor in improving infant health. But to achieve this, midwives must be educated and regulated to provide the full scope of midwifery skills and competencies identified by the International Conference of Midwives. Thanks to the government, the Ministry of Health has embarked on midwifery education at the level of diploma from 1990s, and currently the program is at a bachelor degree level conducted at a higher Institute of Health specialty. Thus, the Sultanate realized the importance of having a midwifery program way ahead of time, where a good number of Omani midwives are working in many healthcare institutions across the Sultanate delivering quality care.
Happy International Midwives Day. Happy Midwives Day for the great care that they provide to all mothers and babies.
Happy International Midwives Day.
On this important day, it's great to record that this critical time where the world is battling COVID-19 pandemic, midwives continue to show resilience and provide life-saving services to pregnant women, ensuring healthy outcomes for women and their babies. From Ibri Hospital, Al-Zahira, Governorate, I'm Abdullah bin Ahmed al-Rubi'i.
Still to come in our news bulletin. Juliet, a rare colored blue and yellow macaw, draws some curious visitors to the zoo in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, even in the midst of the pandemic. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Russia today condemned attacks on civilians after violent clashes between Israeli police and Palestinians at Jerusalem's flashpoint Al-Aqsa Mosque compound and urged both sides to refrain from escalating violence. More than 200 people were wounded when Israeli riot police clashed with Palestinians at the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound late yesterday, capping a week of violence in the Holy City and the occupied West Bank. The clashes came as tensions have soared over Israeli restrictions on access to parts of the Old City during Ramadan and the threat of eviction hanging over for Palestinian families in East Jerusalem to make way for Jewish settlements. Pakistani Prime Minister Imran Khan yesterday arrived in Saudi Arabia for a three-day visit to the nation amid tensions between Islamabad and the kingdom. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman greeted Khan and his wife Bushra Bibi at King Abdulaziz International Airport in Jeddah. The two countries are expected to sign new agreements to bolster trade and economic links during the visit. Saudi Arabia gave $6 billion to Pakistan in 2018 when Khan's government came into power in 2018, but bilateral relations have since witnessed ups and downs. The two countries have a longer history of cooperation, and the kingdom is Pakistan's main supplier of oil. During his stay, apart from meeting with Saudi leadership, Khan will interact with Pakistanis working in Saudi Arabia. Khan's visit comes days after they recalled Pakistan's ambassador following complaints by expat Pakistani laborers working in the kingdom who said their own embassy mistreated them. The southern state of Karnataka has joined other Indian regions in declaring a lockdown as coronavirus cases surge at breakneck speed. The restrictions will take effect from 6 a.m. local time on Monday and will last until the 24th of May. At over 300,000, Karnataka's capital of Bengaluru has the highest active caseload of any Indian city. But experts warn the worst is still ahead as India's third largest city buckles under oxygen shortages, overrun hospitals and crowded crematoriums. Huge lines outside vaccination centers were seen despite some of them running out of vaccine doses. The state's oxygen shortages prompted the High Court on Wednesday to order the federal government to increase the daily liquid medical oxygen supplied to Karnataka. The ruling came after 24 COVID-19 patients died in a government hospital on Monday. Meanwhile, Hot Meals, a small kitchen in Bengaluru, is home delivering free daily meals to more than 40 COVID-19 patients every day. The patients who are home quarantining have to give them an address, and lunch and dinner is delivered to their doorstep. The fourth round of talks between world powers on Iran's nuclear program opened in Vienna, with diplomats voicing hope of progress towards an agreement in the coming weeks. Diplomats from the remaining parties to the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, Britain, China, France, Germany and Russia, as well as Iran, held talks for about an hour at a luxury hotel in the Austrian capital. The leader of Iran's delegation at the talks, Deputy Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, hailed the new energy and seriousness of all sides at the talks. The Russian ambassador to the UN in Vienna, Mikhail Ulyanov, tweeted that the delegations seem to be ready to stay in Vienna as long as necessary to achieve the goal. The EU is coordinating the talks, and an official from the bloc said that the latest round should probably be a longer round than the three before, because by now everybody has an idea of how the agreement would look. In the midst of a pandemic, macaws are an inspiration to visitors at Rio de Janeiro Zoo, who have embraced the story about Juliet, a rare colored blue and yellow specimen that makes daily visits to the bird enclosure to find a little companionship and maybe even a mate for life. Biologist Angelita Capacchino, while ushering visitors around the bird, where more than a dozen blue and yellow macaws are gathered on branches, said when these animals seek out mates to reproduce and they find one, they stay with the same individual for life. Juliet is perhaps the last of the blue and yellow plum-aged macaws in the wilds of Rio's forested hills and has become a symbol to many tired of 13 months of COVID-19 quarantines and travel bans. For Brazilians weary of the pandemic, the story of the wide-ranging bird's freedom to travel and the possibility of romantic coupling is irresistible to many. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main headlines once again. The decisions of the COVID-19 Supreme Committee comes into effect all over the Sultanate. A number of wilayas of the Sultanate witness rainfall due to the effect of Al-Ataya trough of low pressure. The Sultanate condemns the Israeli forces' raid on Al-Aqsa Mosque and rejects the eviction policy and process of the Palestinian people from their homes in Jerusalem city. And with the end of tonight's news bulletin from all of us here, we would like to remind you once again to keep following the precautionary measures of wearing face masks, washing hands, and keeping physical distance from each other. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night and stay safe.